Thanks for tuning back in. I'm Tommy Campbell, still bald, still in my basement, and still having trouble pairing this controller with my PlayStation, but it should be totally cool to operate a submersible 2 miles under the sea, right? Right? What a week it's been so far. Defeated former President Donald Trump had an interview on Fox News, and Bret Baier sung him like a rich tourist sub, except he didn't have to pay a fortune for the ride, and I'll be getting into the worst defendant on earth and more, but first, this.
Donald Trump, seriously, who is as alert as ever, ready to confront all of our nation's problems head on. He does event after event, so many rallies, town halls, and is putting out policy videos almost daily. He has unbeatable stamina. And that's what we need in a leader, not to mention his golf game when he hits like holes in one. I've seen it personally, but okay. Strength, focus, and a commitment to restoring America's prosperity.
The blow-up doll with confetti cannon, Paul Stanley makeup, and a Bon Jovi wig is actually promoting her party boyfriend's father's health. If Trump's so fit, why does he always use a golf cart? If Trump's so fit, why has he never been in the pool at Mar-a-Lago? Is he scared to show off his Putin on a horse physique, or just worried about brown sharking the joint? Now, I understand that once in a while the pool has to be drained in order to flood the room where computer servers containing surveillance video of boxes being snuck away and more exist, but still, so many chances for this man to display his strength. Don't do it for me. Do it for MAGA. One push-up from Trump. One. It is pouring MAGA tears. Fill your mugs, have a laugh, and join us in the comments as I mock the latest and stupid from the right-wing clown car that's veering off a cliff.
If you want to be my lawyer, you probably won't get paid. You'll look a lot like my third wife, and you'll never work again. Let's do business.
This is really cool.
Pretty wild that the disclaimer for a ride on this minivan-sized submersible mentions death 3 times on some pages. 3 times! And these wealthy lunatics are still like, bolt us in. Bolt us in. Yes, it has to be bolted shut. Bolted. 2 weeks ago, we were freaking out about a crazy passenger opening the plane door mid-flight. Now we've got a deep-sea dildo stuck in the ocean, and even if it makes it to the top, you need a crew to open the door. Part of me wonders if OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush just created this thing as an elaborate trap for billionaires. I do hope they are found alive. But I want people to realize that while the USA and Canada work together, risking lives and spending millions trying to rescue these voluntary idiots who are just trying to get something unique to talk about at their country club, just remember that every year, thousands of desperate migrants, including women and babies, are left to drown at sea. Thousands. In the Fox News leaked emails and messages that came out, I mentioned how there was one person who was really upset and was actually pushing for fact-checking, and that was Bret Baier, who sat down with Donald Trump for an interview that set Trump on a tangent on Truth Social, and I'm sure had him painting the walls with hamburgers.
Please, could we have it back?
And they
please,
asked for that.
Because they have no.
They did ask for it.
No, and
they said,
I gave
"Can you
them
give the
some,
documents back?"
And we were talking.
And then they said they went to DOJ to subpoena you to get them
which
back.
they've never done before.
Right.
And in
but
all
why not
fairness,
just hand them over then?
Because I had boxes. I want to go through the boxes and get all my personal things out. I don't want to hand that over to Nara yet. And I was very busy, as you've sort of seen.
Yeah.
He is saying here again and again that Nara asked for it and he didn't comply. Obstruction of justice. I was busy doing what? Playing wedding DJ for right-wing millionaires between rides on your golf cart? All this guy has had is free time. But still, busy is not an excuse. And he just said again and again that they asked and he ignored.
But
I've
according
been
to
very,
the
very
indictment,
busy.
you then tell this aide to move to other locations after telling your lawyers to say you'd fully complied with the subpoena when you hadn't.
But before I send boxes over, I have to take all of my things out. These boxes were interspersed with all sorts of things. Golf shirts, clothing, pants, shoes. There were many things. I would say
Iran war
much more, not that I know of, but everything was declassified.
Bret straight up says you ordered your assistant to move the boxes, and the grab him by the pussy guy's defense is he doesn't want people touching his golf shirts that were packed in with the military secrets he took to his resort.
I have every right to have those boxes. This is purely a Presidential Records Act. This is not a criminal thing. In fact, the New York Times of all had a story just the other day that the only way NARA could ever get this stuff, this back, would be please, 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 could we have it back?
And they
please,
asked for that.
because they have no.
They did ask for it.
No, and
They asked for it back again and again, and that led to a subpoena. And you still didn't give it back.
You were
it
recorded.
wasn't a document.
Okay.
I had lots of paper. I had copies of newspaper articles. I had copies of magazines.
I know. This
had
is
copies of
specifically a
everything.
quote. You're quoted
And
on the
I know,
recording saying the document was secret, adding that you could have declassified it while you were president, but, quote, now I can't.
How can people not see how insane this all is?
You know, this is still secret, highly confidential. And the indictment cites the recording and the testimony from people in the room saying you showed it to people there that day. So you say on this, on tape,
It says just the opposite.
that you can't
And let me just
declassify it,
tell
so
you,
why have it? is
When
what
I
the question
said,
is.
Are we really supposed to believe that the guy who had to have briefings read to him and spent his presidency watching cable news wanted to hang on to newspaper clippings for his scrapbook? That's what he wanted to show people at Mar-a-Lago?
Is uniting our country. And what I mean by that is the people of our country. Everyone is seeing, and it's not just what he's done, it's what's going on in our country right now. And this is helping everybody get to this common sense bucket, which is the new Republican Party, the party of the mega party of common sense. This is the Donald Trump party. Once you get into this bucket of common sense, you don't leave the bucket.
MAGA party of common sense. This is just Mike Lindell's way of trying to combat Hillary Clinton's basket of deplorables, which is accurate. And this common sense bucket is not. Zero common sense.
when I said that I couldn't declassify it now, that's because I wasn't president. I never made any bones about that. When I'm not president, I can't declassify.
And that's what you said. You didn't declassify it.
I said, no. I said I couldn't
could have
but that wasn't a
declassified it.
document, Brett.
They were totally planted. I declassified them by standing over them. I'm allowed to have classified documents. I gave them back. I'm not giving them back. I'm busy. Thank you. I see every tip that comes through, from pennies to dollars. They are hugely appreciated and help make this show possible. If you love what I do here and you can afford to help out, throw me a buck with the PayPal link in the pinned comment or drop me a super thanks.
There was no document. That was a massive amount of papers and everything else talking about Iran and other things. And it may have been held up or may not, but that was not a document. I didn't have a document per se. There was nothing to declassify. These were newspaper stories, magazine stories, and articles.
I'm just saying what the indictment says.
Well,
the recording and the people in the room who...
I'm just saying your own quotes. The recordings from the people in the room. For those new to the show, I'm glad you found me. Thank you. For nearly a year, I've been reading a genuine page from Lauren Boebert's book. This is a ton of fun. I only do this once a week, and it's been pretty wild. In this section, we're at one of her places of work, where a group of unsavory individuals have placed bets on Lauren's intentionally missing hamster. Let's get back to it. The bar wasn't far away, so I just ran as fast as my clear heels would take me, leaving a trail of Snake's dollar bills flying in my wake. I grabbed the first box of red I saw and held it high above my head, funneling that magical grape juice through my old corncob face hole and giving that hopefully a Tylenol a chance to ride down to my stomach. It's times like this that I wish Judge Janine could see me. She'd probably think we are sisters, but we are not. My dad's a famous wrestler called Stan Lane. If you've never seen Stan, he looks a lot like my husband, Jason with a Y, who can also be a bit of a tag teamer himself, but Stan does his thing in the ring. You know, we've never met. So Stan, if you're reading this right now, I know my mom made you take a test with the science people in the 90s, but this girl doesn't trust the smart. So next time you're rolling through Colorado, maybe take a break from power slams and autographs and come meet your brown-eyed girl and the man she married that looks so much like you, it's crazy. You don't have an ankle monitor, chain smoke menthols, and chug Coors while driving over your neighbor's mailboxes, do you? Because if you do, it would be really hard to tell the two of you apart. I squeezed the last of the generic Merlot from the box, dropped it on the ground, and that's when I noticed Mr. Fong in front of me, sitting at the bar with a glass of whiskey and a bag of Funyuns. A bag of Funyuns. "You're a thirsty girl," he said. I stared at the bag and then looked to the left across the dance place, trying to squint through the light to see if Jason had Mountain Dew. Missing something, Valentine? asked Mr. Fong. For those new to my life, Valentine is my stage name. Until my mid-20s, I thought Valentine's Day was called Valentine's Day, so I needed an alias. I wanted people to make Lauren Boebert their Valentine, not aware that this was a made-up word like climate change and Funyun. I locked eyes with Mr. Fong and asked him, "What is in the bag?" He tilted it away and peered inside. "What do you think is in the bag?" I know bags better than anyone. I've handled all sorts of sacks in my life, but was this the one? I stared him down while listening for the faint nibbling sound of Mountain Dew. It was like a fairy tale. If you've enjoyed this genuine page from Low Rent Booze Burp's latest book, let me know in the comments, and I'll see about reading another page next week.
When God's given over and judging a nation, you find him right there in Romans chapter 1. The nation accepts the LGBTQIA+ transgenderism perversion as normal.
If you believe in God and believe God made these people, what's the problem? Trump, the best prez ever. MAGA tears. Gee, Tommy, won't you be, one, embarrassed when we all see Hillary wearing an orange prison jumpsuit because the next president puts her there? MAGA tears. So sad when you see a former comedian begging for dollars. MAGA tears. Can't wait to vote for Donald again. MAGA tears. Thanks so much for watching. Help me out by joining us in the comments, sharing this video with a friend, and following me on social media. I am a one-man show here, from script to screen, the editing, even the graphics. Please throw me a tip with the easy PayPal link, or hit that super thanks button, and be sure to check out my mugs that go great with those MAGA tears. I am a stand-up comedian. I've played in 35 countries, and I've toured with Jim Jeffries for nearly 10 years. I have 3 albums and a brand new EP from my opening set on Jim's latest Netflix special. You can stream these on Spotify, Apple Music, or catch them on SiriusXM. Thanks for helping me make this show possible. Life's short. Be cool, be kind, take care.